Hello, it is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Wednesday crossword today, which means a midweek, mid-difficulty themed puzzle, and we can see some evidence of theming through the gauzy privacy veil, a few circled cells in there. And this circle-strewn edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Josh Allen, Mike from Vermont, Daily Buzzard, and, as always, the indomitable Showmaster. So thank you so much to the four of them. They're benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, which means they support this channel. They keep the series going. Very grateful to them for that, as I am to all of the patrons of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. Thanks so much if that includes you. I really do appreciate it. And you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve or via the description field link. And there are posted all of the bonus videos available to patrons. And actually, I think either yesterday or today, the latest monthly bonus puzzle from the New York Times went up. It was all themed around Friends, the show Friends. So it's not something about which I have deep knowledge. So it was a bit of a tricky solve, but it's the monthly bonus puzzle. They're never that difficult. So even for something outside of my area of direct knowledge, it wasn't too bad. But those are always fun. You can check that out on the Patreon campaign. And what else? There's the Daily Solve Discord chat server. You can join via description field link as well. And finally, it is a big help if you subscribe on YouTube. Thanks to everybody who's done that. I do appreciate it. And of course, thanks to everybody else who's a patron, if I forgot to thank you. All right, let's get on to the crossword. This is a Wednesday construction by Alex Eaton Salners, who's constructed several dozen puzzles for the New York Times, quite an experienced constructor, and it was edited once again by Joel Faliano. Let's start solving, see what this themed puzzle is all about. Lot unit. Lot unit, an acre maybe, as in a lot of land, that sort of thing, perhaps? Let's look at the crosses and see if that works. Poke menu option, right, okay, so this is poke, a kind of fish rice bowl. So ahi, tuna, could be an inclusion. Second most used substance in the world after water. That's really interesting. What is that? Second most used substance in the world after water. If I had to guess, I would guess it would be a substance that itself uses water in its creation, which I guess most things do, which is concrete. There's just unbelievable amounts of concrete being used because it is such a useful building material. It's used, underneath so many other materials. Let's check the cross to see if that works. Things hung upside down in some tool sheds. Hose. You often see a hoe hung upside down, so its head is down at the bottom. What is going on here? LIP blank on PRODUC blank S. Productions? What is going on here? Producer, what could that second word be? Or third word, it could be produces, producers, productions. Kind of want it to be productions because I assume that what's happening is that the blanks here need to be long enough to fill this space in the grid. That could be wrong. Could be something else. Oh, no, it's not. It's Lipton products. It's referring to tea. Lipton tea, presumably. So does that mean we put the tea here? Lipton products. I think what's going on is we're using the circled cells to fill in the clue, and then the answer to the full clue goes into the full space. Lipton products. Something teas, I assume. Instant teas? Instant teas. What's instant tea? Is that... It's hard to imagine tea being all that much faster than a tea bag because all you do is you put the tea bag into a cup and pour boiling water onto it. Are there instant teas that are like instant coffees where they're sort of dehydrated or processed in such a way, I guess they're always dehydrated, but processed in such a way that they dissolve, like instant coffee granules? I don't know, but I feel as though this must be the answer. It just looks Like it has to be that. But let's look at the crosses and see. Gave a new form, reshaped maybe. Nueva York, por ejemplo, Estado, so one of the states of the United States or of the Estados Unidos in Spanish. Do some work as a teaching assistant, maybe, to grade papers, perhaps, or tests. And chow could be grub for food. Okay, so auto takebacks are repos, repossessions. Longtime residents around the Great Salt Lake are the Utes, so that's the people, the Ute people or nation. And then recuperative recommendation, bed rest. So if you need to recuperate following an illness or injury, you might be recommended bed rest. Cleared the dishes. If you ate, you could have been said to have cleared your dishes, to cleaned your plate. In a sort of exaggerated sense, of course. Stately country homes. Chathams? That's not right. What is this? Chateaus, sorry. There's a that was a strange bit of totally incorrect lateral thinking, because there's a building here in London, Chatham House, and talks and lectures are often given there, and there's a concept called the Chatham House Rule, which is sometimes incorrectly stated as Chatham House Rules, plural, but is only one rule, the Chatham House Rule, which is that things said during a lecture given at Chatham House are not to be repeated. Not all talks given at Chatham House are actually subject to that rule, but it has become a bit of a sort of catch phrase unto itself, or a bit of a concept beyond its own walls. Anyway, cutaneous condition. Anyway, sorry, when I saw why I said that, when I saw stately country homes, for some reason, it was just the first thing that popped to my mind as the idea of a, house, although it's a different sort of house. Cutaneous condition. Acne, so cutaneous, dealing with the skin. Blank acid, essential component of vinegar. What is this? This seems like it should be familiar. Acetic acid. There we go. That's what it is. And obviously that's the same root as acid, I would think anyway. But let me know if not in the comments. Always curious and happy to be corrected. One-time threat to a castle's walls. A catapult, yeah, okay. That's a medieval siege weapon. Chesapeake Bay is one, an estuary probably. Never been to Chesapeake Bay, but presumably is an estuary. Evens as the score. If one evens the score, one ties it up. And celebrity chef Garten, Ina Garten, who I think Ina Garten, is she the Barefoot Contessa? She goes by that, sort of adopted that name, I think. Or at least that's what she titles her cookbooks. I could be mixing up people. I think that's who that is. Anyway, here we have La Cosa Nostra, which is a term sometimes used to refer to the Sicilian mafia. And then here we have House of Cards Casino, right? So a house in which card games are played. There's another house. Okay, so Traveler's Aid could be what? An atlas, maybe? A book of maps? It's plausible. Certainly not something you'd use very frequently these days, traveling, but let's see if this is a T. Like laid-back personalities. Like laid-back personalities. I actually don't know. Okay, well, should I try it? Let's just try it and see. I thought I was going to maybe rule it in or out with that, but not yet. Fix as a sneaker's sole. Soul. Obviously not correct. Fix as a sneaker's sole. I don't know. Do I think it's Do I put a guess upon a guess? Piece of an edible rack. A rib rack. There we go. That looks plausible. So you could have a rack of beef ribs or something. Okay, Savannah Grazer. An impala, the animal. Okay. So there we go. So a grazer on a savanna, that kind of environment could be an impala. And then animal opposite a kangaroo. Oh, here's another animal. Opposite a kangaroo on Australia's coat of arms would be an emu. So there we have that. Another animal associated with Australia. Well, another from the kangaroo, not the impala. Do they? I doubt they have impalas in Australia. Clears the dishes, busses. So if you carry your dishes away to a receptacle, you've bussed them. And, oh, right, look at that. Traveler's aid in brief. Is that an identical clue? Oh, no, not quite. This one says in brief, so a GPS for global positioning satellite or system. And then here we have, reglue a sneaker's sole. Okay, so the sole might be glued on, and you're going to reattach it in that way. All right. So Alice actually looks correct. I think that was right. Ho-ho holiday time would be Yule, the Christmas season, the Yuletide. And like laid-back personalities, it's type something. So type A is very aggressive, very sort of forward momentum having. What is type B? This is there a type C? I don't even know. Is there a type C or a type D? I don't really know these personality things. I don't think I've ever taken one of these tests. So let's see. It could be type B, but I'm not sure. Company that merged with Sprint in 2020. I'll probably recognize it, but I'm not sure it'll be a telecom company. I don't know. Count your blank by friends, not years. Count your age by friends, not years. That sounds plausible. To lean on somebody would be to rely on them, your friends who you're counting. And blank-colored blance. I don't know why I said blance. My mind turned blank lance into a portmanteau of blance without my even thinking about it. Anyway, it looks like plum-colored plants. So looks like we're doubling up the letters. At least we've done it twice so far. So purple peas, I guess. Or, don't think I've ever seen purple peas, but they may well exist. And if so, we've just referenced them. I suppose we've referenced them either way. Relatives of vicunias and guanacos. And what is this? About half of the books in the New Testament are attributed to him. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Must be Paul, one of the disciples. And then, these must be llamas, are relatives of vicunias and guanacos. That sounds familiar with vicunias. I don't even think I know what guanacos are. But I think this is the answer. Several animals in today's grid. Showbid Award Quadfecta. So this would be the EGOT, the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, which is for performing arts awards. Okay. T-Mobile, maybe? Company that merged with Sprint in 2020. Okay, so in that case, T-Mobile, I suppose, was the sort of surviving entity because they're still around. And I guess now that I think about it, Sprint isn't? Or actually, I don't know. I'm not sure, actually. Maybe they're both still operating as different business units. I don't know. Anyway, this is the answer. Like laid-back personalities, type B. Okay, so there it is, type B. Is it just type A and B? Are those the only two types? Seems maybe, but I'm not sure. Annual growth indicator, a trend line. It's too long to fit in here. Don't know. Bug is a... Oh, no, it's not a bug. It's two bugs. Someone is to pester them. There we go. So obviously, I was thinking of a pest as in a bug, and it's obviously the same root word, but we were looking for the verb. Not fantastic would be real. So we often use fantastic casually to mean something that's great, but obviously, more fundamentally, it means something of fantasy. A sort of fantastic story would be something that's unbelievable. It's fantastical. It's not real, not to be believed. So there we have it. Granola grain would be an oat, as in in some kind of breakfast cereal or something. Well, I guess granola. I don't know why I said breakfast cereal or something. The clue says granola. That's what it is in this case, anyway. Metal worker ? Is metal work. Oh, a roadie maybe? As in someone working for a metal band, like a rock band? But you'd usually spell roadie A-D-I-E, so I don't think that's right. Let's look at this. Busy others, so busy buzzers, bees, so bumblebees, whoops. There we go. Oh, robot? Metal. Oh, I see. A worker made of metal. Yes, okay, so a robot in this case. There we have it. Great. Crushed ingredient in dirt cake. Ah, here we go. It's the official snack cookie of the New York Times crossword. It is the Oreo. And I see a clue that I know, so I'm going to put it in. Around the World in 80 Days traveler Phileas Fogg, of course, the protagonist from the Jules Verne novel Around the World in 80 Days, which I started reading in the original French last year, and then eventually sort of fell out of it. I just kind of lost momentum because it is slower for me than reading in English. But it was fun. Valentine line is I love you, I guess. Okay, that's straightforward. There we have it. Purchases that are assembled brick by brick. Lego sets, I would think. I think that's right. Lego bricks would be assembled. And animal crackers, question mark. Oh, eggs. They're laid by animals and they can be cracked or they can crack. So there we go. And then here we have Thanksgiving meal choice, a leg. You could have a turkey leg if served a Thanksgiving meal. Okay. VCR successors are TiVos, so that's a brand of DVR, which is digital video recorder, I think. So there's that. I never owned or used a TiVo. Choice cuts are fillets. So fillet is often considered a choice cut of meat. So you can have a fillet of steak or something. Okay, big name in bidets. Toto is a manufacturer of toilets and associated equipment such as bidets. So you could buy a bidet from Toto and put it in your bathroom, I suppose. All right, message communicated as short, 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 long, 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 short, short, short. That is, I believe, the message SOS, chosen precisely because it is so straightforward and easy to remember, and therefore to sign out in Morse code. Okay, so here we have, to figure something out is to suss it out, figure out, suss out, and the parenthetical out in the clue just means we're going to apply out to the answer as well. So figure out, suss out. Spot for a barcode, maybe a tab? Don't think that quite works. A tag, maybe. A barcode on an article of clothing, maybe, or something could be on a tag. Not sure. Friendly facial trait. There we go. Oh, interesting. There are 3 missing eyes in here, and yet we're only putting 2 of them in. Is that the first time that's happened? I don't remember. Yeah, it is. So I guess the idea isn't that you're matching them to the specific circles. It's just that, in general, there are eyes missing from this clue, so we must put eyes in the circles. I hadn't appreciated that that's specifically the way in which it works, but it also, I think we're done with them now anyway. So friendly facial trait would be smiling eyes, I think. So this does look like tag, doesn't it? And then brews made with heavily roasted malt, pale ales. There we go. Pale ales on the bitter side, though not as much as, say, an India pale ale. A proposal might be done on one. Not sure what's going on with that. Here we have annual growth indicator. Oh, it almost looks like trend line, but not quite. What am I missing here? It does look like something line, doesn't it? It's going to seem really obvious in retrospect, but I'm not sure right now. Powered a unicycle, e.g. pedal. You can pedal a unicycle to power it. There we go. Anheuser-Busch product whose ads once featured a penguin. I assume this will be a beer because Anheuser-Busch is a large brewery sort of conglomerate. Don't know. Not sure. Someone who's lacking manners is rude. So does that help with this? Not yet for me. It's funny that we have another beer here. Annual growth indicator. tree line? Oh, I see. Right. Okay. I got lucky with line. That really, the version of line I was thinking of, a line on a graph, was completely irrelevant. This is a tree line in the sense of, a forested area, something like that. So the tree line, I suppose, over time would grow, and you'd see that. That would be a visual indicator of the growth, is the changing of the tree line. So nincompoop in Nottingham would be a prat. So there we go. It's just in British English, you would call someone a prat to call them an idiot. Okay, proposal might be done on one. Oh, knee. Oh, maybe this isn't pale ales. No, puddled was correct. What is this? Oh, I guess that's true. I was thinking pale ale doesn't seem like it would be made with heavily roasted malt. But I don't know, to be honest, I don't know all that much about beer brewing, so I just figured, oh, well, what do I know? That looks like it's the answer. So what is that? Because, yeah, you don't associate a pale ale with being malty. You associate it with being slightly hoppy. Anyway, and so you wouldn't have that roasted flavor, I don't think. Proposal might be done on one. A knee, right. That's what I wanted that to be. So what is this? I feel as though I'm still getting something wrong, and I'm not quite sure what it is. What is this one? Anheuser-Busch product whose ads once featured a penguin. I mean, my first thought when I saw this clue was Bud something, like Bud Light, but again, it just doesn't fit. Oh, I guess if it's Bud something, it could be dark ales. That sounds much more likely to have heavily roasted malt. A dark ale. Yeah, that dark roasted sort of flavor. Well, so what is this then? I don't know what this is. Maybe I just don't know it. Christianity's blank creed, Nicene Creed, as formulated at the Council of Nicaea. Just sort of a fundamental statement of Christian faith. And then Bud Ice. Was there a beer called Bud Ice? It's not familiar to me, but its ads featured a penguin, so that does sound plausible. Demolition Hammer. Not sure about that either. 1,000 Gs, a mil, so 1,000 thousands, G for 1,000, would be a million. Demolition Hammer. What on earth is this? Maybe I still have something wrong. Oh, I do, because I never corrected this. So tree ring would be an annual growth indicator. There we go. That's better. Because, right, if you've chopped down a tree, you can see in its rings an indication of its age. Okay, demolition hammer. Oh, sledge. It's a sledgehammer. There we go. Okay, and IDs with multiple hyphens are SSNs for social security numbers, which is a U.S. unique identifier that is separated by 2 hyphens into 3 blocks of numbers. Aids in wrongdoing. If you aid someone in wrongdoing, you abet them. So aids, abets, someone in a crime. Medical licensing exams are boards, medical boards will, approve or I guess deny a doctor to practice. And then hit hard would be to ram a door, say, would be to hit it hard. Paternity proof in brief could be one's DNA, I would think. And then string together. I'm not sure about that one. What about this? Looks like urbane. Yes, debonair, to be debonair, to be sort of sophisticated and urbane. And then granny in southern dialect. So meemaw is sort of seen that referenced as a bit of U.S. southern dialect. And then string together is to sew, to literally bind things together using essentially string or thread. So there we go. Speaking of sew. That was the Wednesday crossword. And I think that was a roughly midweek, mid-difficulty crossword. And, I didn't really... So I suppose our theme, does it spell anything or mean anything? TPBI? I don't think so. I don't think it sort of means anything. TPBI. I don't know. I can't tell if this means anything. I feel like I want it to. TTPPBBII. You know, it's funny. There's another B in here. Actually, and there's another P in here, and there are more T's in here. Why are these specific ones highlighted? They're not even equally spaced because these, I feel there must be something else going on in here, and I'm not sure what it is. TPBI. TTPPBBII. Maybe there's not. Sorry, I really don't know what's going on. It just feels like I'm missing one step. I usually am. Usually when I say, "Oh, I guess it just isn't anything," almost always someone in the comments tells me I'm wrong. Usually several people, and they're generally correct. But I don't know that I'm succeeding in making any progress with it. And I don't see anything else in the grid that is a revealer of any sort. I don't know. I think I have to give up. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing. Let me know that I'm wrong because I probably am. But there we go. That was the Wednesday midweek mid-difficulty crossword with a theme that continues to confound me in some way, and I can't tell why. I guess that's intrinsic to it. Confounding me is not being able to understand why. But there we go. Well, do let me know if you have a good idea there. TP by. I don't know. All right, that was it. That was the crossword. I'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of the New York Times crossword. Do join me for that. We'll have another sort of interesting theme. Maybe that one will confound me as well. You'll have to come back tomorrow and find out. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.